Beautiful day today, sunshine throughout, low humidity. Really a splendid September day. The afternoon temperature about 80 degrees, great weather for the primary election.
5:45 a.m. The tragic and traumatic events that occurred on September the 11th all started when hijackers Mohammed Atta and Abdul Aziz Al-Amari passed through security at Portland International Jetport in Maine at 5:45 a.m.
What were you doing when 9/11 was happening?
I was actually on my way from southeastern Kentucky to a doctor's appointment in Lexington, Kentucky. We were driving, we were in my father-in-law, we were in our car. We were moving to a doctor's appointment for my hand.
Between the back, the cockpit's not answering. Somebody stabbed in business class. And I think there's mates that we can't breathe. I don't know. I think we're getting hijacked.
Oh, shit!
8:46 a.m. 5 hijackers crashed American Airlines Flight 11 into floors 93 through 99 of the North Tower. The 76 passengers and 11 crew members on board and hundreds inside were killed instantly. The crash severs all 3 emergency stairwells and traps hundreds of people above the 91st floor.
This just in, you are looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center. CNN.
I was in 10th grade biology class at North Fork High School, and there was a teacher that came into our classroom and told us what had happened, and we turned the TV on.
I was a senior in high school in psychology class, and same thing. They came in and told us what was going on. We turned on the TV right then.
Actually, my freshman year of college, I was asleep in my dorm room, and I got a phone call from a friend telling me, kind of what was going on. Crazy stuff's happening. Turn on the TV. That person got there, and I turned on the TV basically right when the second plane was crashing into the tower.
It appeared to bank sharply and smash directly, perhaps purposefully, into, oh my goodness,
Oh God,
there's another one. Oh my goodness, there's another one.
On page 153. What mostly stuck out during that?
So for me, there was a pit in my stomach, and we all sat there quietly. A bunch of us started crying. It was really sad to think about when you watch that building fall and you know that it had all those people in it, and you could see people jumping out and see people trying to get away from it, and they were walking around covered in dust and blood. It just made your stomach just drop.
I would say I grew up in a military family, so I guess I have a lot of sense of national pride. So it hurt. It was sad. It was angering. So possibly the emotions that I felt, and I guess the fear of trying to reach my sister and not being able to do so. And then it was kind of my generation or that grouping that started joining the military after that, and seeing friends go off and go fight for that cause.
Let's go to Florida. President Bush has a statement.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a difficult moment for America. Today we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country. Terrorism against our nation will not stand. And now, if you join me in a moment of silence. May God bless the victims, their families, and America. Thank you very much.
Right here, we do have an urgent wire now saying another aircraft, unbelievably, has crashed into the Pentagon. This is a preliminary wire. We will seek to confirm this, but this word just into us from our newsroom that perhaps another aircraft went in there.
It was a real crazy morning. Lots of confusion, not knowing what's going on. It was kind of scary because my sister lived in D.C. at the time, and obviously the Pentagon got hit there, and it took like 6 hours to get a hold of her. So it was lots of emotions felt, I guess, in that a few couple hours.
Hi, baby. Baby, you have to listen to me carefully. I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you. Please tell my children that I love them very much. And I'm so sorry, babe. Oh, your mother's gone. I'm gonna die, aren't I? No. I'm gonna die. Live, say your prayers. And we're gonna think positive because you gotta help each other get off the floor. Now, stay calm. You're doing a good job, ma'am. You're doing a good job. It's so hot. I'm burning up.
The whole side has collapsed?
The whole building has collapsed.
The whole building has collapsed?
The building has collapsed.
That's the southern tower you're talking about.
Exactly. The second building that we witnessed the airplane enter had been the top half of it.
We're looking at the financial center. To grieve us, 2 broken windows. Oh, God!
It was the first time I've really seen such devastation, and so as we were watching the coverage and watching people die because of this, it was just it was devastating to experience that.
Another plane has crashed, this one about 80 miles south of Pittsburgh.
These are the first pictures we have in. This is from Somerset County, Pennsylvania. This is where the United Airlines Flight 93, this was a Boeing 757 bound from Newark, New Jersey to San Francisco. It crashed in Somerset County, Pennsylvania, near the town of Shanksville.
It was just unreal. I didn't know the severity of what had taken place, and so I think I was just in shock.
What has happened? 2 attacks. There have been in Manhattan, one plane colliding with one twin tower. 18 minutes later, oh my God. Oh my God. You can imagine the situation could get any worse. You've just seen it get worse. That was the second tower of the World Trade Center collapsing before our eyes. The second tower collapsing as rescue officials were trying to evacuate the building, trying to put the fire out that after a plane had collided there shortly before 9 o'clock this morning.
Do you think the American spirit has changed because of that?
I think at first you saw a lot of patriotism, a lot of remembrance, a lot of anger, a lot of sadness, and over the years I feel it's kind of drifted away again. That seems to be kind of human nature, I guess.
I think the biggest thing for soldiers as well as anyone else would be that we just never forget. That we always make sure that we're aware that people did die on 9/11.
I think it's important to remember the events like that happen so that we can make sure that we figure out how to prevent them from happening again. I also think it's important that everybody gets a chance to go and remember those people who lost their lives on that day.
Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. The victims were in airplanes or in their offices, secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads, friends and neighbors. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. This is a day when all Americans from every walk of life unite in our resolve for justice and peace. America has stood down enemies before, and we will do so this time. None of us will ever forget this day, yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world.